and the lights go out, we go racing then. Cars Honda Interactive, 7.2 litre engine here. The Holden Monaro, but the two Nissans with their turbocharged engine go to the front. Up on the inside of Bly comes Ronsetti, but it's Biggers that leads. They go for Richie side by side for second, but again that turbo working on the exit of the corners for Darren Bly's Skyline. They've gone to the brakes now for the Montreal hairpin. Everybody coming up behind. Up on the inside comes Colin Tester in the rear view camera there. He comes up on the inside. Oh, and he slows out the Chapman curve. Not sure what that's all about, but down the straight they come then, and then two Nissans getting away already. It's Biggers and Bly. They were 3 seconds faster than Ronsetti in qualifying. Already in the fourth, from sixth from the green is Paul Dobson. He struggled in qualifying. Then Gary Whittaker there in 5th position. On board with Ronsetti, and there's lots of smoke in front. What's going on? The two leaders, they've gone off the circuit, and they've collected the next couple of Escorts, I think. So there's Biggers, and there's Bly. So into the lead goes Josh Ronsetti, right behind in the review camera there we can see Paul Dobson's gone second as they head now down towards Brundle. The two leaders have taken themselves out of this race it seems, because Gary Whittaker and third, and there's no sign of the two Nissans, so it's nose to tail now between Ronsetti and Dobson, because Dobson's caught him right in, he gets sideways, they go out of Brundle. Out of Nelson even I should say, and Ronsetti leads the way there, but he's got this Mazda RX-7 going sideways all over the place. And now the final time the leaders make their way down the Brundle. Here's got a bit of lappery to do. Ronsetti and Dobson both go up on the inside, just they're absolutely nosing how this is the closest they've been. Dobson almost into the back of Ronsetti. They can't find a way through as they head down the bottom hole then for the final time. Ronsetti just getting away ever so slightly now from the Mazda as they head, he has to defend as they go down the corner curve. They go through the right-hander now then. Nose to tail the two cars are. As they now got on the Fiestas to lap. As they break now, Dobson goes to the outside. And it's just about nosing in front of Ronsetti. They go either side of the champion from last year, Brian Long. And they're side by side as they come across the line. They're about to lap Laurie Dunster. This means the Mazda will get boxed in behind the BMW. It does. A chicken flag for Josh Ronsetti wins the race then. And the lights are about to go out then for the first Classic Thunder race of the day, of the weekend I should say. Away we go, the two Nissans on the front row, and there goes Biggers then. Biggers takes the lead then ahead of Bly. Ronsetti and Robinson, the two V8 supercar type machines, are side by side for third as the two Nissans get it away at the front, and Bly trying to come through. Robinson's got third then. Biggers around the outside for Maggots on the inside for Beckett to take the lead. The two V8 supercar type machines again, the Falcon and the Monaro side by side. Sideways out the corner there was Josh Ronsetti in the Pro Driver Racing machine, and the two Nissans go nose to tail, and they're in the rear view camera. And now on the inside, here goes Paul Dobson, and then that Mazda RX-7. Robinson's dropped behind Ronsetti. Oh, this action on the first lap, incredible. Dobson's gone third, and now he's gone the inside of Darren Bly. He's got second position now on the inside of Bly. Great move there from Paul Dobson. It's attacking Biggers now. He gets through sideways and he gets to the corner. And then here comes the battle for third. Then Ronsetti looking all over the back of the RX-7. And look at the speed of the Falcon. Here he comes. Andy Robinson, the rear view camera. Now Ronsetti comes around the outside of Paul Dobson as they head into the right-hander. The RX-7 staging front. But where's the Falcon? There he is, just behind. Ronsetti's doing now. Ronsetti's got a great run out the corners on the inside as they head down the Maccas. Looking up big time there. Was it Ronsetti who locked up? Yes, because now he runs really wide. Dobson back into third position. Ronsetti down to fourth. Now Robinson as a car shakes out the corner. Andy Robinson makes his way through Beckett's centre car, drifts out wide on the apex of the corner. And he puts the power on, the car goes completely sideways. Corrects it, and look, pointing down either to the marshals or for the circuit. There's oil out there. We're hearing that Josh Ronsetti's car dropping oil. And look, for Brooklands, the car rolls sideways again. Look, you see the oil on the circuit. This is really bad conditions out there now. Colin Tester in front. And Robinson, the car just sideways. More power goes on, the car gets just more sideways. This is going to be a fight for survival for some of the drivers out there. They don't want to end up in the gravel trap. Gary Whittaker's already gone, so Josh Ronsetti think, oh, I'll go as well then. And both the cars thunder through past Andy Pearman and past the Renault Clio of Andy Johnson. Now they've got to chase after Laurie Dunster and Brian Cox. There's Dunster in the field. On board with Andy Robinson though, battling for the lead, but it's Darren Bly that's gone round the outside there into Beckett to turn the lead in the Nissan Skyline. Then they put the power on, out of Beckett they go. And where's Mark Biggers? He must be in third. Is he? No, he thunders past. Look at the speed of the exit of the corners. Then we got Whittaker makes his way past Dunster. Then Ronsetti follows him through. Brian Cox is next up. Whittaker doesn't have much power down the straight. Ronsetti powers past. He's side by side in front of him. That's the car. We have Andy Robbie as well as Brian Cox. He goes past 3 leaders together though. It's Bly ahead of Biggers, and then Andy Robinson. It's the 2 Nissans ahead of the Ford Falcon. Round the outside comes Mark Biggers for the lead. Now the inside for Luffield, and this is going to be the race lead for Mark Biggers. He goes back to the front. So over this 20-minute period of the race, the leads are changed. Making a side, Biggers gets on sideways on the exit of the corner. Bly tries to come back at him, but Biggers has got the lead. Into Brooklands, and Biggers getting away from Bly ever so slightly on this lap. Through the right-hander at Luffield then for Biggers, powering out of Luffield now then. The red lights are on here then at Brands Hatch, and the lights go out now for the 4th race of the year for Classic Fonda. Mark Biggers powers away from Gary Whittaker to take the lead. Paul Dobson comes flying around the outside from 6th position. He goes equal second, side by side with Gary Whittaker. Mark Biggers goes sideways. Paul Dobson spins then in the Mazda. Everybody just about tries to avoid him. Another car goes round. I think that was one of the Escorts. That's the car in the hands of Stuart Day. So leaders come down side by side. Colin Tester's trying to get the lead away from Mark Biggers, and he's done it. Colin Tester in the much less powerful Class B Ford Sierra Cosworth leads the way then. Second's Biggers, third is Gary Whittaker. Matt Moore following through. Gary Whittaker just fallen slightly behind as Matt Moore dives up on the inside once again. Can't get past Mark Biggers. They run nose to tail out the corner. And then the Skyline doesn't pull away down the straight this time. Instead, Matt Moore goes up on the inside to take the race lead. Away from Mark Biggers then. So Matt Moore is our new race leader. Second is Mark Biggers. And now Gary Whittaker tries to find a way past Biggers. This is now the battle for 2nd position on track. But with the penalty for Whittaker, it won't be yet for position. Whittaker looks all over the back of it. Biggers hasn't got the straight line speed anymore. There's a problem occurring now with that Nissan Skyline. Whittaker slices his way up on the inside to take 2nd position on track. Now into Cersei's last lap, and Gary Whittaker's closed the gap back in on Matt Moore. Not quite close enough, perhaps another lap, and he may well have done it. They've got to lap Andy Pearman's car, who runs in the 12th position. So they will get around the outside of that car. And Matt Moore, in his first race this year in Classic Fonda, he will take the race victory then. He wins. Gary Whittaker wins Class B and comes second overall. Only 8 tenths of a second between the two of them, and two plans to pull out a massive gap in those 5 minutes. Only 6 laps. Paul Dobson will finish in third then. Mark Biggers from the outside that goes to the lead. He goes ahead of Gary Whittaker then. Stuart Day side by side with Paul Dobson. Dobson's going to get third. Fourth goes Day, but now Stacey Vickers has a look up on the inside to go up into fourth, trying to get ahead of Stuart Day, and he's done so. And AJ Owen makes his way ahead of the Blue Saloon leader. Matthew Bowden goes round the outside of Stuart Day as well. There's a very sideways Paul Dobson in his RX-7 as he goes onto the front straight. Here's Stuart Day then as he gets his Escort WRC sideways, and a flame out of the back of the Escort as he heads down towards Allard. And for the final time, they're side by side with third. Stuart Day jumps across the chicane. That's going to allow Paul Dobson back in front of Day then. As Day dropping that, of course, will still finish fourth. There's the checkered flag, and third going to Dobson, winning Class A2. And they just lapped Paul Devil when all this happened. Let's see what happened. And look at the speed the Escort WRC has down the straight. They tried round the outside of Paul Dobson as they headed into the chicane for the final time. And Dobson was massively sideways. Day was too late on the brakes, jumped over the chicane, and as they exited the corner, Dobson was sideways once again. But Day's slow because, of course, taken to the grass there. So the red lights go out, the rolling start is away, and Mark Biggers on the outside of the front row goes into the lead as they head through Allard for the first time. Gary Whittaker, though, who tried to fight back in his Class B machine, unable to do so to the super modified turbocharged Nissan Skyline, and Mark Biggers leads the way as they head through the complex for the first time of asking Whittaker in the Class B BMW, though, trying to come back at him as they go through the corners at the complex. They're saying now put the power on and go round the back for the first time. About 3-second lead. So Whittaker just doing what he can to stay with him. Gary Whittaker hoping for yet another Class B victory. Gary Whittaker with some lappery to do. That's Andy Penman, works his way round the outside of him as he exits the complex. Still running second. But Andy Robinson makes the better start in the Ford Falcon, and Mark Biggers tries to squeeze up alongside Gary Whittaker. Almost finds himself on the grass, and Gary Whittaker cut him off there. So they go into Charlie's for the first time. It's Andy Robinson in the Falcon that leads, but Gary Whittaker's all over the back of him. He tries to look up on the inside on the second part of Charlie's, couldn't get that done. Mark Biggers here in third, under pressure from Paul Fletcher, but now the power goes down in that Nissan Skyline, and he flies down the straight already onto the back of Gary Whittaker. Mark Biggers having to back off now as we head down the straight, down towards Park Corner. There was no way through to go ahead of the BMW. And a spin in front, then from Paul Dobson, almost then into the side of AJO, and as he recovered, so spin out of fifth for Dobson in the Mazda RX-7 over the mountain, sideways for both the leaders. Robinson still just ahead of Biggers. The Falcon just ahead of the Skyline, then third Whittaker, fourth Ford Fletcher, the Subaru Impreza, then fifth AJO in sixth. Roby now under pressure from Paul Dobson, who looks up on the inside into Holden. He's on the grass, he's on the curbs, the Mazda spins. Once again, a second spin was allowed for Holden. This time the car is facing backwards, gets it into reverse gear. Dobson fighting the second of the Mathiases, as behind Josh Rossetti out of the raceway. It looks like it was Scott Mathias who's battling with Dobson. I think Josh Rossetti dropping a prop shaft over the top of the mountain level, and then we're going over the top of the prop shaft there. They go out now then on board Andy Robinson and Mark Biggers alongside us, goes right round the outside. The cars head down to Coppice. Nissan Skyline goes ahead of the Ford Falcon and tries to fight back. So it's Biggers that leads Robinson. These two cars we expect to escape from the rest of the field, then nose to tail as they head through Charlie for the first time then. You can see the two of them already escaping as they put the power on and head down the park straight. And Biggers already gapping Andy Robinson, and in third is Vaughan Fletcher. He's gone ahead of Gary Whittaker off the line. Fifth is Roby. AJO in next up. He has Mathias coming up on the inside of him. Behind, contact maybe as AJO goes onto the grass down the park straight. He slides the car back onto the circuit, and now the free blow with saloons all around. The car in the hands of Andy Roby, the BMW M3. It's Fletcher. Hawkinson on the grass, Dobson come through together, side by side still between Mathias and Roby as they head for Quest Curve, and off again goes AJO, and he's parked I think in the tyre wall there. Well over 100 miles per hour the Nissan Skyline gets to before having to put the brakes back on. Slowing the car right down for the mountain, and then over the top of the hill we go. We'll head into Hull Bends, and once again the car's speeding right up by over 80 miles per hour before we get onto the brakes at Hull Bends, which is surprisingly fast, 50-60 miles per hour taken through there. Then we're slowing the car right down to the slowest part of the circuit, under 30 miles per hour through the hairpin, then through Barn Corner, and the checkered flag awaits for Mark Biggers taking yet another victory here in Classic Thunder in 2012. The checkered flag waves to Mark Biggers, he wins then, and the race gets underway then as we charge down into Old Hall. We believe actually Andy Robinson not there, and it's Whittaker. That's a good one out of Old Hall. We saw in the rear view camera, but not being able to do anything about it. We head down into Cascades, and Paul Dobson there looks up on the inside of Gary Whittaker and moves up there into second. He's going to try and get Mark Biggers as well. Then he slides the car, he goes into the side of Mark Biggers. Biggers spins the Skyline, and he goes into the tyre wall on the exit of Cascades. As they go down towards Lawrence Corner, he looks up on the inside of Gary Whittaker, but Whittaker later on the brakes stays in front in the BMW E36 M3. Is about to complete the sixth lap of the race. Mark Biggers once again uses the power just to fly past the BMWs into second position on the completion of the sixth lap here at Holden Park. But halfway through the 20 minutes, Biggers had that spin after contact with Paul Dobson, and how has worked his way up to second, and Dobson has a big lock up down at Cascade. He just about stays on the road. He's pushing hard, trying to keep clear of Biggers as they face Lapa Fiesta, and now Dobson sits the car in the middle of the road, defends the inside line into Island Corner, so Mark Biggers can't find a way through this Holden Park circuit. Pretty tight, allowing Dobson to park the RX-7 in the middle of the road and stay in front, and he's doing that at the moment. once again, Biggers looks for room there, but Dobson once again defends the line. So they head into the Breton chicane, and Paul Dobson launches the RX-7 onto 2 wheels there, but this time on the exit of the corner, he can't get to the middle of the track. Mark Biggers down towards Lodgestone. He's about to get the checkered flag as he laps Richard Woods in the Focus there. The 2 cars come very close together as they over the brow but across the line. The checkered flag waves to Mark Biggers to win yet again. Then Mark Biggers to the front in Classic Thunder. The Nissan Skyline sits there in a 4th overall with Gary Whittaker sliding the car out of the corner there, trying to bring himself up on the inside of the Skyline. Can't do that. You can see there Escort Mafia still right behind Ashley Bird, but now Mark Biggers zooms past into that Nissan Skyline. He goes in front of both of them up to 2nd position overall. The Classic Thunder leader Mark Biggers goes in his 4-wheel drive Nissan Skyline. Now what about Gary Whittaker? He's in the Class B leading Classic Thunder car, and he draws up alongside Matthias, but Matthias has so much power in that Escort. Comes back round the outside of Ashley Bird, heading into the Hatchet's hairpin. Then for the 2nd time, Gary Whittaker stuck to the back of the Ford Sierra there, and he's now going to try and follow Bird back ahead of Matthias. There goes side by side, and then Whittaker has the inside line, so he moves now up to 4th overall, but he almost loses the BMW there. It was very sideways out of there, but now Whittaker right behind Ashley Bird. Dobson back onto terms with Ashley Bird now, heading down the front straight, passing the commentary box here, and now Paul Dobson looking up on the inside into the Hatchet's hairpin. Can he get this one done? As we turn through the right-handed hairpin, yes, he's gone through then. Dobson slides the car in upper position, then up to, that is 5th position. 4th position, sorry. 4th position overall, 3rd in Classic Thunder. He already was, of course. Just up the road is 3rd overall as Dobson, as per usual, gets the car all very twitchy and sideways, locks up there. The car goes all sideways on the exit of the corner, but again Paul Dobson saves the slide. Gary Whittaker going to finish